Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report. Today for you we have a 19 threat match of the Asgardians finally defending their homestead versus the Defenders. So we'll take a look at the two teams and then go over the mission. As always, let's get started. And here is the 19 threat of Asgardians, of course being led by Thor, but then it's mostly a family affair. We have his brother Loki, who is equipped with the Mind Stone, so for 2 power he can force somebody to move wherever he pleases, get them off objectives, get them into precarious positions, whatever. We have Angela, who will probably end up calling Enchantress or vice versa the whole time. Well, not vice versa, because Enchantress ain't here, because instead, for the first time in a little while, there is Hela there. So that is just 4 miniatures in the team, but obviously they've got an Infinity Stone as well. The tactics cards being used: Odin's Blessing, Rainbow Bridge, Seeing Red, Sibling Rivalry, and Extreme Conditioning. And also harbouring one of the Infinity Stones, we have the Defender team being led by Doctor Strange, of course, and he has the Soul Stone. So the way that works is active superpowers being used within a certain distance of him. I think distance 3 means that he generates some extra power, so he's going to be annoying in his own special way, much like Loki is. He's joined by Wong, Hawkeye, Wolverine and Daredevil, and their tactics cards are Seven Sons of Cinnabis, Field Dressing, Pentagram of Farala, All You've Got, and Reversal. And before we see who's going first, here are the 2 objectives being played. We have Azure Extraction, Panic Grip City as evacuation efforts continue, so that is 4 civilians. You get 1 victory point for every civilian you're holding, although you can only hold 1 per character at a time. And if you're willing to pay 6 power, you evacuate them off the board forever for 2 victory points. And that is the threat value being played. The secure portals overrun with spider people, overrun the city with spider people. There's 4 inheritor portals. You score 1 for every one you control. To control one, you roll dice equal to your energy defense, and if you have more crits, wilds, and hits than there are healthy characters around it, you take control. But if you roll at least 1 skull, you get teleported to within your current position. So that is that. And we can see that the 4 inheritor portals were playing this edge and that edge. The 4 inheritor portals, there, and then kind of in between them we have round there, and there are the 4 civilians. So now we will roll off, see which side is getting first. They'll pick one of the 2 ends that we're playing this time, and we'll get started. So the Asgardians have deployed to the left of your screen and the Defenders are on the right, and it will be the Asgardians taking first activation. We can quickly take a look though. Hela is by herself, eyeing up, saving that civilian over there. She is the goddess of death after all. Angela is right there in the middle near the portal. Our big base is obviously putting her very close to it. And then Thor and Loki are over there together for probably the usual turn 1 play. Then over here, Doctor Strange, Wong, Hawkeye, and then round the other side of the building over here, Daredevil and Wolverine. So with that, we are ready to begin battle round 1. So it was not in fact Thor or Loki getting the game started, it was Hela. She activated, she moved forwards exactly enough to barely just be within 1 of the civvy she started in front of. She paid 1 of her 2 power to pick it up, and then she moved medium again, and thanks to her big base she is within 1 of that portal, and oh, the marker's not there. Sorry about that, there we go. She spent her other starting power, because Asgardians start with 2, to claim that spider portal there, so that is now under Asgardian control. And forgot to mention, but Loki and Doctor Strange are both generating 1 more power than normal thanks to having Infinity Stones, but she just had her normal 2, but she spent them very well. Wong was first up for the Defenders, and he meditated, which is an action to give himself an extra power. He then spent those 2 power in Faithful Assistant to feed 1 power into Doctor Strange, and then for his other actual action, he moved forwards medium. He is within 1 of that civvy, but he has no power with which to grab it, so he's basically just moving up to stick close to where Doctor Strange is going to end up. So Thor activated and then did the usual turn 1 play. Sibling Rivalry. If he's within 2 of an allied Loki, they can both spend 1, which they did, and then he chucks Loki medium, and then the rest of the card doesn't matter because it was just giving Loki a free medium movement, so he still has his turn, but he is close enough to do something with that. The portal, if it gets switched back, because Thor then double moved medium, he flew over the house, so he cut the corner, and he spent his other power that he had, and he successfully converted the portal without being teleported by it. So now the Asgardians hold 2, and it's back over to the Defenders. Doctor Strange was next up, and he just did a double medium move in order to get himself eventually to a portal. He stopped after his first move to pay 1 to pick up the civvy that was next to Wong, So he is holding his 1. And then he moved next to the portal, which we can pan round here. And he has claimed it for the defenders, and he did not get teleported by it, but that's all he did. Angela activated, and she of course is super quick and moved long. So she double moved long from where she was behind Hela all the way down here to the portal that Doctor Strange just took control of. She spent 1 of her power, and she did beat him being there and took control of it. Forgot to mention, Doctor Strange also generated 1 extra power on his turn because his role for the portal included a shield, so the shield of the Seraphim kicked in. But she has stolen the portal from him. It is possible Hawkeye could get over there, but he's got terrible energy defense. That's the thing, everyone who's claimed a portal so far has had 4 energy dice. The characters that are left I don't think are as good. We'll see. So rather than going over to where Angela was and needing both successes on the 2 energy dice he would be rolling, Hawkeye instead just repositioned ever so slightly, where, like, even if he moved his full distance he wasn't within 5 to shoot at anyone. So he's staying conservative. He spent his 1 power, and he did claim this back portal though, so that is at least some additional points for them. So now it's over to Loki to end the turn for the Asgardians, unless he decides to pass, because Wolverine and Daredevil still have to go for the defenders. So Loki did decide to activate, and forgot to remove it off the table, but he did spend a power point to pick up the civilian, and then he just moved to where you can see him. He had another action, but nothing he could do. If he double moved, he could have reached this civvy, but you can only carry 1. With hindsight, what should have happened was Thor should have done the throw, picked up the civilian that was there, and just moved next to this portal and left claiming it to Loki, but hindsight is 20/20. The man without fear moved up for his first action. He paid his 1 power to pick up the civilian, the last one on the table, so now every civilian is claimed. He then did a 4 physical free attack baton hook on Loki. Loki fully defended it, so he took no damage, but the Wild did a push because he's size 2 or less. So, well, it's really more of a pull, but it's called a push. He pushed Loki, size small, towards him, which does put him in precarious distance to a very angry, tiny Canadian. So Wolverine actually kept his anger in check and instead did the smart thing, well, potentially smart thing, of just double moving now that Loki was not contesting there as well, so his 3 energy defense had a better chance of beating Thor just being there and being healthy. He did, and the portal was claimed for the defenders. No skulls at all for anyone who did a check on the portals this turn. And it does take us to the cleanup for Battle Round 1. So at the end of Battle Round 1, with the points tallied up, it is right down the middle as both teams have 2 civilians each for 1 victory point apiece, for a total of 2. And each team also holds 2 of the portals for 2 victory points, meaning they're both locked at 4 victory points. No one close to getting enough to send the civilian off the map permanently. It will be the Asgardians going first again, taking advantage of their lesser numbers, as we go into Battle Round 2. So it was Angela to get Battle Round 2 started. She did 2 of her basic 0 cost 6 physical Sword of the Stars attacks on Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange didn't buff his defense on either of them. The first one did 1 damage, the second one did 2. She then spent 2 to pick up Doctor Strange and throw him, which in turn also generated him 1 extra power. He's already up to 10 in total from the damage plus that. He got chucked into Wong. She's like, oh, he's probably going to heal you, well, take this. And he took an additional 1, obviously, from being thrown. Wong didn't do too well with his dodge roll either, and took 2, so he's on half health. So Angela did some work there, not as much as she probably would have wanted, but Doctor Strange is hurting. So we're staying over here as Wong was first up for the defenders. He spent his 1 power generated this turn in order to heal Doctor Strange for 2 damage. So Doctor Strange has 2 damage left on him. He then, because that counts as an action, for his other action, he moved within 1 of the portal. He did not have any power left to even try and convert it. So he's just being a nuisance by being close enough to it that he would help make it harder to turn if, on the assumption it turns to the defenders at some point. Hela activated next for the Asgardians, and in an effort to try and do something sneaky to poor Wong, played extreme conditioning for her 2 power she generated this turn. It makes her 1 movement action long instead of medium as normal. Was hoping cutting the corner there would be enough that she'd be within 2 of Wong to do her basic strike and probably kill him, claim his soul, etc. So you should have a soul token and there'd be 1 less person over here. She couldn't get close enough, it wasn't within 2, so she just moved. So she's contesting the portal, and this is looking fairly dangerous. I don't think Wong is going to last long over here. Hawkeye activated next for the defenders, and he did a move action from where he was at the portal over to here, just amongst the rubble. He shot his arrows at Hela. It didn't really matter which one he targeted because they're all 4/4/4, like Angela and Hela are 4/4/4 defense, so it didn't matter if he was physical or energy. he went after Hela because she's holding a civilian. And as you can see, he actually did fantastically. His initial roll had 2 crits in it, and her defense roll was nothing. So she took 4 damage, which generated a lot of power for both of them, as it happens. So that was a good turn for him. So now we're going over to the other side of the board, unless a pass gets used, to either Thor or Loki. So Loki did indeed activate, and first of all he used the Mind Stone to convince Daredevil that his quarry was actually over here, so he moved small back the way. Then he did a move so he's better positioned on the portal there. He then did a basic strike on Wolverine. All said and done, it did 2 damage, which Wolverine's going to heal at the end of his turn, unless Thor takes him out first, I suppose. He was also totally meant to try and convert that, so hang on a second. Alright, yes, he spent one of his remaining power. I think he still has 3 left. To try and convert the portal, he did. Obviously, Wolverine will still have the chance to try and get it back, but he's only rolling 3 energy dice as well, and all of them would have to be hits, crits, or wilds now, with both brothers being right there. So Doctor Strange activated next, and this would have played out very differently had Hela actually been able to take out Wong, because they triggered his trap card. He moved as a first action to where you can see him, which put him within 2 of Wong and Hawkeye, allowing him to use 7 Sons of Cinnabus, which he spends 3, as long as he has 2 allies within 2 of him. It lets him do the attack up here, and if it deals damage he does incinerate. It's a beam 5/8 energy attack. As you can see, it did 4 to Hela. It only needed to do 2, and in doing so she dropped the civilian she was holding. Now Doctor Strange was already holding one, so he spent 6 power to evacuate it, and then spent another power to pick up the one that Hela dropped. So he's back to holding a civilian, but he immediately evacuated one for 2 victory points. The attack also did 4 damage to Angela, and she survived the hit, so she has Incinerate. His rolls also did have, or roll did also have a shield in it, so he generated power from that. So he is still, I think he's all said and done, he started with 10, and now he's got 1 power left at the end of all that. That was quite the turn for Doctor Strange. So Thor activated, and if you've ever wondered what it looks like if a hammer throw gets all crits in the attack roll and the defense roll against it is terrible, this is what it looks like. Wolverine just took 6 damage, which is not statistical in any way, shape or form. 5 was enough to daze him with the 2 damage he had because he hasn't activated yet, so he didn't heal any, so he is dazed. And then Thor just flew away. He went over there, he's decided his sister and Hela need help. But yeah, he took Wolverine out, so that does mean it's over to Daredevil to end the turn. So Daredevil couldn't make it to the portal in 1 long move, so he double moved and he spent his 1 power to try and convert the portal, and he failed. And not only did he fail, he had a skull, so he was placed within 2 of his current position, and he was put next to a very angry Thunder God. And that does take us to the end of Battle Round 2. So things are heating up at the end of that round. The defenders evacuated a civilian for 2. They are still holding on to 2 civilians, so that's a total of 4 victory points. They do, however, only hold 1 portal, the portal at the back there. Conversely, the Asgardians currently only have 1 civilian on Loki, and they hold all the other portals. So all 3 of the portals are still claimed, bringing the score at the start of Battle Round 3 to 9 versus 8, so it's close, in the defenders' favour, but it is the Asgardians once again getting the first turn, and of course everyone who is dazed is flipping their cards. So it was a very messy first activation for Battle Round 3 for the Asgardians. Angela activated, and she did the basic Sword of the Stars attack on Wong to start off with. Did 2 damage, which was enough to daze him. She's allowed to move within 2 of his position afterwards, so that's why she shifted position to here. She then attacked Doctor Strange with her basic attack again, Sword of the Stars. It only did 1 damage. She then spent 2, giving him a power because of his Soul Stone. Picked him up, chucked him at Hawkeye, so he takes 1 damage automatically from that. Hawkeye took 1 damage as well, and also as part of attacking Doctor Strange, Hawkeye played Reversal. So when an allied character within 3 of the attacking character, after an attack that targeted an allied character is resolved, another allied character within 3 of the attacking character, Hawkeye is within 3 of Angela, spends 2, roll 4 dice, and for each crit and wild rolled you deal 1 damage. He rolled 2, and that was actually enough to daze her. So, well, she's had her turn anyway, but yeah, Angela has been dazed by the reversal from Hawkeye. A lot of damage done all over though. Doctor Strange activated, and he spent 6 power to save another civilian for an instant 2 victory points for the defenders, putting them at 11. He then double moved for his turn, next to the portal up there. He's sitting on 4 damage, but now there's less reason to kill him because he's not holding anything. But he is backing off over there to put some pressure on the back end portal. So Hela activated, and she had what might be one of the most embarrassing turns in Crisis Protocol history. She spent 4 for Reign of Hell on Hawkeye. It did no damage. He fully blocked the very few dice that got through. So she was like, okay, well, what if I do it again? Spent 4 power. In total she spent 8 power. She did another Reign of Hell. He blocked it again. The attack rolls were terrible, but his defense rolls were out of this world. That is not a good value proposition. 8 power spent for 0 return. It was like, oh, just do a quick one to take out Hawkeye and then start moving. Nope. Hawkeye proves once again he's just one of the luckiest people alive. Hawkeye activated and spent 2 on a hook arrow to move himself within 3. He then, for his first actual action, just did a move. He spent 1 power and he managed only on 2 energy dice to convert that portal because there was no contesting, so he just needed 1 success. He then shot his arrows into Thor. It did 2 damage and got a wild, so he has applied shock to the Thunder God, ironically. So he'll be rolling 1 less on attack rolls unless he spends on the Asgardian affiliation bonus. So Thor did indeed clear his shock by spending 1 power on his affiliation bonus for being the Asgard leader. He moved medium twice just to get over to this portal and then spent 1 power to convert it, because even if he took out Hawkeye, he wouldn't be able to take out Doctor Strange as well and move over there, so it was the best bet of securing some more points for now. Wolverine activated and he stayed still. He did 2 the best at what I do's, which is an adamantium slash plus a move that he didn't take any use of, and every wild counts as 2 successes, which was the important part. He spent 6 power in total. He did them on Loki. The first one did 3 plus a bleed, the second one did 2 and no bleed, but that's enough to daze him. Now the problem is, Loki dropped his sewing token, it's been placed there. Because of Wild Rage on his wounded side, Wolverine can't interact with or hold objectives, so not only can he not convert portals, he can't pick up the civvy, and only Daredevil is left to go, and he's already holding a civvy and has nowhere near enough power to get rid of them. So that's a problem, but it is over to Daredevil to end off the turn now. So with nothing else he could do, Daredevil just moved over to the portal, spent his 1 power, and converted it successfully, so that is something, and that does take us to the end of Battle Round 3. So there was a lot of damage and dazing and some fantastic rolls in that turn. As things stand, another civilian was sent off, and the defenders still hold 1, the one that Daredevil is holding, and there is obviously now 1 on the floor that nobody is holding. They hold 2 of the 4 portals as well, putting them at 14 out of the 16 required to win, so they're in good stead depending on what happens, for the end of turn 4 being a win for them. The Asgardians don't have any civilians because the only other one they did control is on the floor currently. Next to Loki, he'll be flipping his card. They still own these 2 portals though, so they did get 2 from that, meaning as things stand, Asgardians getting turn 1 in Battle Round 4, and it is 14 playing 10. So to get this battle round started, the Asgardians had to move, and in order to do that, Rainbow Bridge was played. Hela activated, but Rainbow Bridge was played. Any number of Asgardians can pay 3, those that did are placed within 3. Thor moved, so he's there now. And Loki also moved, but he didn't move the full 3. He's still within 1, but he's getting ready to grab and run, by the looks. So then for Hela's actual turn, she did 2 basic strikes on Wong. The first one only did 1 damage, it was a whiff. The second one did 3, which is enough to remove poor Wong and thus more or less secure that back portal. Wolverine activated, but first an error. You can only do the best of what I do once per turn, so last turn that was done incorrectly. So this turn he did 1 the best of what I do for a move and adamantium slash with wilds counting for 2. He only did 2 damage and a bleed, so knowing that he couldn't do that again, he did the Berserker Barrage instead, and that did an amazing 6 damage, but Loki countered that by playing Odin's Blessing, which has been held on to maybe a bit too long at this point. P3, it reduces the damage received to 1. So all said and done, he took 3. That's all Wolverine can do because he can't interact with any objectives. Over to one of the Asgardians. So Loki activated, he paid 1 power for the affiliation bonus to remove his bleed. He paid another power to pick up the civilian he was next to. He did a first move for his first action. He tried to convert the portal and failed. So then for his other action, he retreated again with a move and has ran over here with nothing better to do. Hawkeye was next up, and he did eventually spend 2 for Hook Arrow just to reposition ever so slightly, but he just shot twice at Thor, Both hits got through and both hits had wilds, so Thor has been inflicted by the slow condition and the shock condition and took 2 damage, putting him at 4 in total. Angela activated and moved long once and then did a Blades of Ichor, which is range 4 I believe for 1 power, and you can do an advance small before damage is dealt, so she did. Towards Doctor Strange, she attacked him with it, hoping just to take off his last little bit of HP so he doesn't get a turn. He blocked it, he fully blocked it, didn't even need to use Hogarth's Hoary Wisdom or whatever it's called. So she wasn't able to stop him, just realised she should have tried to turn the portal, so hang on a second. Oof, not only did she not get through both Hawkeye and Doctor Strange being there and on their healthy side, she had a skull in the roll, so she has been pushed back by 2. So now it is over to, well, Doctor Strange could activate or Daredevil. I think it's actually already over unless Thor is able to take out Daredevil, but we'll see. Yeah, so Daredevil activated and he just ran away as best he can over here. Basically, that now means it's impossible for the Asgardians to stop them getting the 2 they require. Thor's limited by being slowed. Yes, he could shake that with his affiliation bonus, but then he's got 3 targets and he can't go after more than 1. He could go over here, convert that, that's fine. He could go over here, convert that, although granted it might be more difficult, that's fine. He could fly over the building and potentially, well no, even then, because he'd have to use a double move to get there, he wouldn't be able to take out Daredevil. So at best he could stop them getting 1 point. He might just try and take out Doctor Strange because of pride. But yeah, I think this is over after his turn. Well, it is after his turn regardless, I think. So Thor used his affiliation bonus to shake the slow. He moved forwards medium. Within 2 he did a basic strike on Doctor Strange. It did only 2, but that was exactly enough to daze him. So Doctor Strange now isn't getting a turn, so we are actually at the end of the turn and the cleanup where it is going to be game over. So it was a very risky play getting rid of so many civilians early in the game, but it has paid off. The defenders have 1 civilian and 2 of the 4 portals for 3 victory points, which takes them over the 16 required to win, putting them at 17 on the dot. The Asgardians still hold 2 of the portals, and they were definitely starting to turn the tide in their favour in terms of wounding the enemy, but it left them only on 12. So it is a defender's victory. So I hope you enjoyed watching this battle report. We're going to say goodbye for now, at least to the Asgardian themed map. Maybe go back to something city themed next time, but it will return in the future, and of course in February, towards the end of February, we have the new Inhuman releases to look forward to. So expect unboxings, maybe some painting videos, and then we'll see them on the table as well in a battle report as soon as possible. So look out for that. Please do continue showing your support, and we'll see you in the future for more. Until then, ta-ta for now.